I think people are being way too hard on LeBron James. And don't get me wrong here, I rep the Spurs, my team. But while I'm happy that they won the championships, and I'm going to be celebrating just like everyone else. I was out there last night downtown. It got fucking crazy. Let's just say there was beer soaking my pants. And it wasn't mine. That's another story. Let's get back to the topic. LeBron James, he's done amazingly. Oh, well, he's only 2-3 in the finals. Well, the fact that he's been to the finals 5 times, I mean, that at all is still a great accomplishment. I mean, just look at the NBA as it is right now. Chris Paul, one of the best point guards in the entire league right now, never been to the NBA Finals, ever in his career. I mean, Karl Malone, one of the greatest players in the league history, one of the best power forwards of all time. I put him second only to Tim Duncan, not because of the rings, but because I feel like Duncan's just a better all-around playmaker on all sides of the ball. You know, offense, defense. He's a great scorer and a great passer as well. And Karl Malone leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to protecting the paint. To be able to get to the finals 4 years in a row, that's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, I can't think, there are very few people in sports that can do this. But it's hard to just get there, so the fact that they were able to accomplish that just shows you the greatness of it. And it's hard. It's hard winning a championship. It takes a lot of work, and more than anything, it takes a great team. Winning championship, not being able to win a championship doesn't mean that LeBron doesn't have killer instincts. It just means he's a human being on a team with other human beings facing off against other human beings. The Spurs did not prove that LeBron is not a superstar, incapable of winning championships. They proved that teamwork trumps talent every time. I mean, LeBron is still an amazing player, but still, he's probably the Jordan of his generation. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Jordan because Jordan can flat out ball, but even Michael, he couldn't win a playoffs until Scottie came along. Every single championship that he had, Scottie was right there. And so he had such guys like Scottie and Rodman, Kerr coming off the bench hitting a lot of clutch shots, and of course the whole time Phil Jackson there, the mastermind, one of the greatest coaching minds in basketball history. I think people just give too much credit to winning a championship to any one individual playmaker. They say, oh, this guy stood out the most, so obviously they wouldn't have won without him. That might be true, but they didn't win just because of him. I mean, when the Heat won the second ring, people are saying, oh, LeBron didn't do anything. It wouldn't have meant anything if Ray Allen hadn't made that shot. But you can say the same thing about Steve Kerr back when he was helping Jordan win their championships. But for some reason, people just want to be even more critical of LeBron. And it's completely unfair. He's still a great player. It's just that he's not surrounded by greatness. Like right now, Duncan, when they've lost, 2 of the finals that he lost were to the Spurs. Duncan was on both of those. Parker and Ginobili was on both of those. And now Kawhi Leonard, this young guy, comes out of nowhere to win MVP. His is an amazing story. And when the 2 finals that they won, I mean, they had help from the players around them. Like Ray Allen, Shane Battier, Mike Miller. You had guys coming off the bench and contributing in huge ways. And that was different. I mean, this year, Battier, did he even play in the finals? I can't remember his name ever being called. Allen, he wasn't doing it like he used to in the old days. You can tell his old age is catching up to him. Dwayne Wade's never going to be what he used to be. They got no point guard play this series with Chalmers or Cole. And they had no big men. There was just no answer. Anderson, Bosch. The Odin experiment failed. Honestly, though, and yet somehow the Heat are still favored to win the championship. I think whether LeBron's back or not, the Heat are not the favorite to win the championship. You've got the Pacers, they're up and coming. I don't know what happened to them this year, but I think they have a good shot at fixing whatever went wrong, whether it was just a mentality or if they just physically got worn down and weren't able to compete. I think next year they'll be an even better team. In Chicago, they're just one healthy Derrick Rose away from winning a title. I'm just saying go easy on LeBron because he is still an amazing player. And he's one of the best small forwards of all time. I'm not going to say the definitive best because there are a lot of amazing forwards that have been in the league. But he's definitely one of the best players of his generation. I mean, I can't believe that I still have to say it at this point in time, but it takes a team to win a championship. The Spurs just proved it. Teamwork beats talent every time. And really, the Spurs shouldn't even have to prove it. I thought the Pistons proved it very well back in 2004. I mean, the Lakers, they had a fucking stacked roster. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal, Karl Malone, Rick Fox, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton, Fisher coming off the bench. I mean, they were just stacked with Hall of Fame talent. They were loaded, and somehow they get upset by a bunch of nobodies from Detroit. I'd never even heard of any of these players until they won the championship, but then they win it, and suddenly I know their entire starting lineup. Chauncey Billups, who got the MVP, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, who was still very, very young back then, Rasheed Wallace, Antonio McDyess coming off the bench, and most important, they also had Lindsey Hunter as a backup guard, but most importantly, Ben Wallace. He became my favorite player that year because he made Shaq cry. Cut LeBron some fucking slack. Well, Michael Jordan's 6 of 6 in the finals, and that LeBron's only 2 of 5. First of all, that's still 2 more appearances and 2 more rings than Karl Malone has, and Karl Malone is a motherfucking Hall of Famer. Second of all, Jordan can straight out ball. We're not denying that. Robert Horry has 8 rings with 3 different teams. Bill Russell has what, 20?